Good day, gentle people, it's your favorite Mr. 482. Welcome back to my channel. I have been ignoring the right Benga bots, so let's see what has been lying about recently.
Here we have a lighthouse. We have the land underneath it. This is a zoomed in image. He's going to back off the zoom and you're going to watch all of that compress bottom first and become unresolvable bottom first.
Remember, he chose the video, he chose the words.
As it compresses towards center frame. Your vanishing zone. The black hole of information.
I'm not gonna joke about that remark right now, but beware of the comment section. You have started this yourself, Gary.
I'm going to play it back in slow motion so you can observe and see for yourself. Nobody can complain that this isn't a clear image. This is very clear. And you're going to watch all kinds of information disappear. See looks like a buoy. That'll disappear. So the information is compressing with distance. As you back off the zoom.
As you back off the zoom, is this the point where the lighthouse is unresolvable, but the land below is still there? Well done, Gary.
It's no longer magnified. The problem with the zoom is people are fooled because they think, ooh, how can that big thing be hidden? Well, it's not hidden, it's just unresolvable. When you zoom in, you magnify the image.
That's correct. But it does not mean what you think it means, and what you claim we would see in this video didn't happen. Very poor attempt, Gary. Also, what is your justification for omitting this part from the source video?
So I'm now down on the beach with an elevation of about 2 meters, again looking at Bathurst Lighthouse with maximum optical zoom on the P900. And as you can see, all that land underneath the lighthouse is completely hidden.
So we have established that zooming out makes the lighthouse unresolvable first, yet in the last clip the land is hidden. You can't explain this away with compression, because you said,
Nobody can complain that this isn't a clear image. This is very clear.
Alright, Gary, let's have another go.
Now you see the red portion at the bottom of this boat. There's also going to be some turbines in here with yellow bottoms.
Now you're getting it. For the bottom to become unresolvable first, you need the bottom part to be smaller than the top part. That is why you need to be very selective about the source material you share with us, Gary. But don't worry, I will point out where you go wrong with this one very soon.
Now the zoom is backing off. The ship is approximately 11 or 12 miles away. The turbines are closer, but still far away.
This is where the antenna array on top of the ship has become unresolvable and the bottom is still there, Gary. Wow, you fell hard again.
Now you watch the yellow portions are becoming unresolvable as separate, and the bottom of the boat also, before the tops.
Way to go, Gary. You discovered what happens with a cheap low-density video sensor, but you wouldn't understand anything I just said, would you?
That's angular compression and Rayleigh criterion as things vanish into the vanishing zone, the black hole of information.
The black hole of information is... No, I'm not gonna do it. Leave it in the comments, guys.
Here you're going to see just a simple angle change. Compress the image. You saw the lettering. All he did was dropped down in elevation from 30 meters to just at the surface, or just by the water. You compress the letters. You can see a red space above the letters and below the letters in both images, where it's compressed or where it's not compressed. You can see that. So all it is compression.
There you go, Gary. You found compression. Funny though, how nothing became unresolvable.
Simple angle change, nothing else.
This is a day of high refraction and getting a few of those days lately. This ship, this picture is taken from a height of 15 meters.
An elevation from 30 meters.
Of 15 meters. And just by looking at the proportions of the ship, there's already some refraction going on there. But then I take another picture from lower down this second picture, I haven't showed it yet, but this second picture I will overlay is taken from right a few inches above the water. And I'll run this a little bit slower. Right, let's bring this into the middle and we'll blink test this one right on the water, a few inches above the water and from 15 meters high. Now, the thing to note here is that the sea level appears to rise in relation to the cranes that are higher out of the water, and they wouldn't be subject to the same amount of refraction as right over the water. So there is compression there. Now we know that there's earth curve there, so this is actually loomed up over the curve. And even if you're not going to believe for religious reasons that there is a curve, then you have some explaining to do. So you need to explain how this can happen when there is no curve.
There you go, Gary. That's your homework assignment.
That's definitely compressed. So you're going to have to work out how does that compression happen. So you're going to have to admit that there's refraction. Refraction that causes light to bend down, causing that to rise up, and causing that compression. If you admit that there is that kind of compression and that kind of light bending, then you've destroyed every flat earth argument that's ever gone on about the geometric horizon and the complete total lack of refraction on any of the observations that supposedly prove a flat earth.
Funny how Gary left it out. Gotta lie to Flurf.
You always say that the observations don't match a geometric globe. Yes, that's right. We've always said that they don't because of refraction. So you're either going to have to admit that refraction here exists in this demonstration, or you're going to have to come up with something else. Who knows what? I'm sure you'll be creative and come up with some bollock story.
Here I want you to pay attention again to the red portions at the bottom of those boats. Also pay attention to that little white portion, little white strips you can see on the dock. Watch as they compress. He's going to back off the zoom. Once again, a very clear picture. Here he's backing off the zoom. Everything's compressing towards center. The vanishing zone black hole is swallowing up that information. You can no longer see the red portions at the bottoms of those ships.
That's all fine, Gary, but I also don't see the containers anymore, while the ship itself is still visible. How do you explain that?
This one comes from Bball for life, or Earher's life you call them now.
What's happening there on the left, Gary? And I don't mean the boat appearing, in between.
Watch what happens to the bottom of this boat.
And again, this boat has lost its antennas. It's almost as if the smallest parts become unresolvable first, not the bottom.
Everything's moving towards center. The bottom is compressing towards the surface. The information is becoming unresolvable. And all the information is being gobbled up in the black hole of the vanishing zone.
You're really making this too easy.
These are mostly clips from your fellow globies.
And they all debunk your argument. You're an idiot.
I don't want any complaining that the camera wasn't good enough. You see what happens? The zoom only reveals what's actually happening if you pay attention.
Yes, it does. The smallest objects become unresolvable first.
Especially when you play it back in slow motion like I did. The vanishing zone is a very real place.
Cool. I suggest you move there.
Angular compression and Rayleigh criterion are real things. Narrow angles compress information to smaller and smaller spaces as things move away from the observer. It's just that simple. And like I said, there's two things. There's angles from objects subtended to your eyes that become narrower and narrower with distance. And that vanishing zone, it has a limit.
It sure does, but it's not biased to the bottom. You are.
The depth of field is limited by elevation above the surface. The closer you are to the surface, like if you're standing on the beach here, the shallower the depth of field will be. The higher in elevation, the more depth of field. That's why when you have a boat that seems to be half hidden when you zoom in, is just too far past the angle for the whatever you're using to resolve it, whatever camera or telescope.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video enough to click that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that button as well. In the description you'll find some links to the source material and some other stuff. This has been Mr. 482, out. Don't panic.